This is a little bit awkward, but I can't remove this thing right now. The Sane Smart company sent me this CNC a couple weeks back, and they also sent me their rotary carving unit. So this is a motor-controlled lathe and allows you to do three-dimensional or sort of enhanced, wrapped, two-dimensional carvings. I've been having a lot of trouble with this, just getting my head around the procedures to start the carving and start to do work with it. It's a really different system. The first thing is that this doesn't exist by itself in interactivity with this machine and their software. You actually need a whole nother unit that goes along with it, which is the GRBL controller unit. So these two actually go hand in hand. They need each other to function. That's actually an important part. I wish it was sort of packaged together. That would have been a little bit better. Or just very, very clearly announced that they were used together. Because I've been having so much trouble, and this is what I like to do. I like to go online and watch a video of someone else that has reviewed it and gone through step by step. But I couldn't find it for this product. There was some steps missing, and I got confused. So first of all, I'm going to learn this, and then next of all, I'm going to show you step by step, the best I can, how to set it up, how to do a carving, and how to start using it. Before we get into this, let's just take a look at the unit itself and some of the capacity. It is small. It is so miniature. What are you going to do on this? It's like you could, it seems like it's just made for chess pieces, a pen blank, something very, very tiny. There is just really not a lot of capacity on this. The max capacity is about 200 mil, so that's maybe 7 inches. And that's if you're excluding the tailstock. And you kind of need the tailstock because you're putting a lot of pressure on the workpiece using rotor bits and whatnot on it. So really, it's only about 4 inches. You don't have a lot of depth going on. So what I have is I think it's around 1 3/8 diameter. Really, during testing, you're gonna have to have a lathe or something to round over and create, around a 20 millimeter tenon to go onto, and just have it generally rounded over to begin with, and that'll get you through the testing process. Again, you're going to be running the jobs off of this controller, even though the candle software that came with it is going to be in play too. Again, I have to figure all this out, but as soon as I do, I'm going to take you through all the processes. It's tiny. It's just very tiny. So yeah, we're going to see how that works with that limitation too. But first, let's figure out how to use it and what we can do with it. So actually right now I have it set. I'm just going to do I'm so confused by some of the things. This is just so different to me. I'm going to actually just do some air carving for a minute. I've actually just got a piece of plastic sort of attached to the router in what I think might be the start position. I'm just going to run a job through an SD card that's inserted into the GRBL controller. Yeah, and just see what it does and make sure I don't breach this. That's the last thing you want to do, is have the router bit interacting with this in any way. So approach with caution. In the manual, they make a big deal out of really using a dial indicator or something to make sure this is perfectly aligned. And yes, that is good, but for my purposes, I know that this is aligned with what the CNC, the x-axis. So I just actually taped it down just for learning purposes. So let's go over the general connections. Say you have it mounted on your bed. You're going to connect the stepper motor for this with its required or included cable to this. It loops through to the A axis here. And then you've got the controller. Once you plug in the controller, it's always going to be in an on state. I wish there was an off button or something. I'm finding this stuff really weird, but I'm gonna try and get through it here. Anyway, the controller has its own cable that it comes with, and that is connected directly to the offline controller on your control board. And this is the 4040 Reno. I think the 4040 Pro is the same. So those are the connections. Again, it's explained in the manual pretty clearly, but those are the connections. I took their test file, I put it on a micro SD card. So you have to have a micro SD card too to run the job from this device. It's the only file, it's MS-DOS formatted, and it's the only file on there is the little test job. I'm also going to run Candle at the same time. There's a code that you have to put into Candle just to make sure the stepper motor knows what's going on. So let's get Candle going. Okay, so Candle is running at the same time. Hold on, I'm going to power up the CNC. I really, I don't even use Candle. I use, because I have the long mill CNC, and I use their one called G-Sender, which is a fantastic program to run this thing in normal CNC two-dimensional mode, I guess. Candle I find kind of confusing. It's just not obvious if there's a connection being made. I don't know. I'm still learning it, but I don't find it fantastic. It's not as sort of intuitive. Let's do a close-up of this controller, and I'll start an air carve. Okay, so once again, I have a little micro SD with just the .nc G-code file for their three-dimensional carve. That includes carving, A-axis, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how you do the bit, but so I'm going to go prepare. Use this to go around. Prepare, boom. Jog step. So that would be setting home point. And again, you use this dial to cycle through. This is just weird too, because you've got your jog steps. You can't kind of run it continuously. And when you press it, it just like kind of pulses it and doesn't go any farther. Probe, home, spindle. There's no spindle. We're using a Makita router. And then finally, I'm going to go to start project. Press. Okay, so it's already opened the file but to open the file, you just go down to this, and it will just start reading. As soon as you press it, it'll read the files that are on there. If you have 2 or 3 files, you can just select the one you want. You've got progress, and then this is actually the screen where you're going to play the job. Home. No, this is not the 0. I don't know if I want to 0 stuff in here. I might 0 it in Candle. Are you already getting confused by this tutorial? I am. Oh. Okay, I'm going to go to Candle. Okay, so I've had Candle running at the same time. Let me go up to preferences, actually. Hold on, preferences, port. Yeah, it seems to be okay. Okay, yeah, I can actually move the CNC with their jog controls that I don't like. Hold on, and now I'm going to... I don't like these 0... Oh, man, this thing. I'm just going to 0 everything, machine coordinates. I think what you're supposed to do is 0 off of their bed. But I'm just confused as to how to do it. But I'm going to start from here. I'm just going to 0 everything here, and I'm going to just run the job and see what it does. I think I'm in a safe situation. And this is what I zeroed, basically. I was just going off one of their illustrations where the router bit would be on top of the material about like a couple millimeters in, or, I think I've got it a 1/4 inch in or whatever. I think the design in the file, it doesn't really say what the dimensions are. Not that I'm sure that could be figured out somehow, but I'm assuming it doesn't, because of their illustration, I'm assuming it doesn't go past there. Again, we do not want it to start carving the chuck. That would just not be fun. When you're testing on a normal CNC, you've got a little bit of wiggle room if it goes haywire, and you can stop things. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna run this from this 0 point. Okay, so now I'm going back to the gerbil controller. We can control all the gerbils in the world with this thing. Okay, so prepare. Yeah, let's say all this is fine. Jog step, that's just for setting. Feed. Yeah, let's jack this up a little bit. Let's go up to like 2K. Whoa, okay. Come on. Let's do 1800. Okay, so down. We're gonna go to start project. And yeah, it's all zeroed. The A axis is all wonky, but that's fine. That would come into play when you have very specific coordinates that you want to carve some lettering or something onto. Get all your go-to. So we have an open file. We have a progress bar. I don't know what this 253 is. Is that supposed to be the total time of the job? Yeah, and I'm just gonna play it. So I'm gonna hit that play button. I'll move back so you can see what happened. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the play button. Hopefully, I don't think it's gonna go crazy, but if it does, I can just hit the power off button, basically. I don't know if this e-stop even works. This is a weird machine, man. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's moved up. Okay, so I think my Z point is just not happening. So on the controller, it's timing down. It says progress 0%. I don't know, is this like a 4-hour carve or something? What's going on here? Okay, so I'm really gonna have to go into the manual to figure out the Z point. It's weird, it's not moving around the CNC too. I'm just so confused as to what the hell is happening with this thing. And you can see in Candle, it's interacting with this in some way. It says that it's running the job. I don't know if you can take over. It's weird. I don't know what the hierarchy is. Hold on. Oh, okay. Now it's dropping the Z. I'm just going to watch this for another 15 minutes. The progress still says 0% in the gerbil controller, so I don't know. Is it gerbil or gerbil? What the heck? It's so weird, man. This technology. I've read the manual again and I had a little eureka moment. There's something that I didn't understand, which is the origin of everything that's being carved on the rotary unit is dead center to, sorry, the Z and the Y are actually dead center. And they give you instructions on how to sort of extrapolate the Y by going on either side or setting the bit on either side and then dividing by half to get to dead center. And then they also tell you that the Z should be 50 millimeters off the floor or the bed. So you're gonna have to touch or probe or whatever the bed and then go up 50 mil and then set 0. I'm kind of just faking it with my little piece of plastic here because I'm still reticent about doing an actual router carve. So again, I've got the controller running, everything's hooked up, everything's on, Candle running as well. I just zeroed this, just a sort of approximate point here at the 0. And then now I'm gonna go up and set my X, which is the final thing. So first you set Y, then you set Z, and then you set X is the final thing. And X should be about 3 mil, but we'll do like a 1/4 inch in or something like that. Hold on, let's just get this going. Yeah, I'll do like right here-ish. Again, this is just an air cutting test. So let's go up. I think I have control in Candle. Oh, sorry, Z. Come on, Z. Oh, damn you. Okay. Now I'm gonna do X. Okay, so now, hold on, I'm gonna set. I wanna retain Z. How come it doesn't say up here? What the hell, man? It doesn't say XYZ. That's so, hold on, that should be X. So hold on, 0XY, 0Z. Okay, so I'm gonna 0XY, but I'm gonna retain Z, 0. Okay, so now I should be able to start the job on my little controller. Let's go prepare, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go to start project. Okay, and it's got the same settings, except now it's giving me this doesn't show A axis on here, but it's everything seems to be communicating. I'm just gonna go right to play, and this should be correct. I should see this little piece of plastic sort of interacting with this in some way. Again, this, from the speed of this job, it really seems like it's gonna take 2 hours to do, which is crazy. I don't even know if I wanna do this carve in the end, but let's just play it and we'll observe. Okay, so it goes up. It's going, yeah, it's going about 80 mil over. It's just doing some rotation with the bit off. It doesn't seem to be going 80 mil. It should be there. I don't get it why it's doing this. So right now it's just cycling through this job, still at 0%. This is gonna take a while, and I'm gonna just observe it for a while. I'm gonna be patient with this and just do this air cut, and then maybe move on to actual cutting. But let's go over all the concepts so far. We've mounted this, we've created some stock that is really only about 4.5 inches. We've got all the connections made between this and candles running, and this GRBL controller is running. We're running the job off of an SD card in there with the test file. I figured out how to set the 0 origin points, so the Y and the Z in the core or the middle, which is good. That's what you want. You want it emanating from what you predict or what you have determined to be dead center, instead of doing the surface or whatever. And then the last thing to set is X here. And then you really want to know how big it is, because you don't want the router bit to ever come in contact with the chuck. The chuck seems to be aluminum or something, and it would not be a fun move to start carving into that thing. So yeah, I'm just gonna observe this for a while. Again, it's just a lot. This is so different than anything I've ever done, really. So just bear with me. Just to observe what everything was doing, I did a time lapse of doing the air carving for a while. And then I kind of got frustrated at about the 40-minute mark. It seems like I've determined that this is about a 2-hour carve to do this test thing. If this is the average carve time for a piece this tiny, I know it can be sped up and everything. I didn't create the file in the first place. To create the file, I'd have to have something like the Vectric software. I only use Easel at this point, which is the cheaper software. I can't afford Vectric at this moment in life, so I can't really start creating files and really get into this on a granular level. But yeah, if this is the kind of bait, just to carve something this small, like say we were doing a chess set, for instance, you're doing 32 pieces, they each take 2 hours. That's like 2.5 days of continuous carving. Do you really want to spend that much electricity to make a chess set? You got to start thinking of all these factors when you're considering this unit. The size, am I going to outgrow it instantly? Do I really want to spend that much time carving stuff? Just have the CNC running continuously just for what amounts to a small job. So really just go through all those, the usage and the pain points and everything, and really think about it. The next thing I'm gonna do, and I'll probably just do it in a time lapse, I'm gonna go to the router bit finally, because I think I've finally got a handle on how to do this safely. I'm sure it's not gonna just go nuts or anything, nothing weird's gonna happen. Now I'm gonna go through the process with a real router bit mounted. First, I'm gonna set the Z point. So I've got it bottomed out here, and I'm gonna raise it with the candle app and raise it to 50 millimeters, which is the center line, and then zero that out. So let's go to 10 mil. I'm gonna go up. Okay, so that's 50. I'm gonna zero Z. Okay, so I've got taken care of Z. I'm not gonna change it now. Okay, so I'm already in trouble actually, because I can't raise it up the Z axis anymore to clear the piece to start it. So I'm gonna have to rethink this. Okay, so we're at some weird capacity issues, because I can't zero it down here and then go up 50 without, and then bring it all the way up to actually get it in position for the carve without hitting the things. So I'm gonna start again with this bit, which is actually not, it's supposed to be a 20 mil bit, like a 20 mil cutter, but I'm just gonna go off this block here. I've actually got the power off now. I'm just gonna roll it forward, hand bomb it. Yeah, and it's a little bit down. Okay, so let's say that's 50. All right, let's go. Yeah, that should do it. I'm gonna power up the machine again. I had the power off during that phase. Okay, so now, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't film during that. I maintained the Z axis, and then I just eyeballed the XY and zeroed that out. So theoretically, again, everything should be on the center line except for X, which is at its little starting point here. So now I'm gonna leave candle, and I'm gonna go to the GRBL controller. But I'm still gonna leave candle running. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit prepare. I don't need to set anything, so I'm going to go right down using the dial to start project. I've already got that file loaded up from the SD card. I put an SD card inside the GRBL controller, and the only thing it has on it is 4-axis test, which I've already tested. Okay, so now we're ready to play. And just another word, you can always hit this again. To stop it, you can just turn the power off on the machine if you want to stop it. Again, I'm confused by the E-stop. It's never seemed to do anything, but yeah, we're going to play this, and I'm going to shoot it in a time lapse. I'm only going to do about a half hour of this, because the 2-hour runtime is silly. I just want to see that it's generally going through the motions and cutting well. One thing that I didn't do properly, it actually took me a few minutes to figure out, was that I didn't set the A-axis as a 0, and that allows everything to start right away. It was just spinning endlessly trying to get to its 0 point, and it was 14 minutes of just spinning forever. So then I started the cut again. But first I set the A-axis to 0, and then it just went right away. I didn't make this program or the cut path or whatever, but it is slow as all get out. It's actually very fine. A couple of things I did wrong. The stock size wasn't perfect. This bit isn't the best length. It's only like about 5/8, and it should be 20 millimeter. So I really should have followed this more correctly. I should have had a 25 millimeter stock size. This is about 35 mil, so it would have like when it went down to the thinner parts, it would have started getting into areas where it shouldn't. Yeah, I had to basically sit there for the entire time with my hand on the stop trigger because I was scared it was going to start breaching into this and cause some problems. So let's do a recap of this whole experience. Good God, if you've made it this far in this video. I think I've failed you in every way that a YouTuber can fail someone, that I failed to produce a great step-by-step. I failed to produce a final product for this. But now I know what's going on. The stock size has to be correct. You really have to think about the path. Later on in the future, I think the next iteration, once I have software that can produce these files properly and really think about how long I want the cut to be, what the cut feed rate, all that stuff, I can control all the parameters a lot better. But I know that it all works together. I know what to watch out for. I know all the steps and all the connections. And I think if you comb through this video, you'll be able to illuminate some of that for yourself as well. Again, I'm sorry I failed you on this round, but in the future, I think I'm going to be able to do some interesting stuff within these size parameters. So it does work. This product works. It has very serious limitations on size and other things. Maybe there's a way to use it on a bigger machine and hack it a little bit and extend everything. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know that yet. But within this little system, if you're doing tiny little things, then it could be right for you. So that's all I have to say for this round. But you'll see more of this in the future, hopefully. And I think I'll have it more dialed in at that point. But this was an extremely difficult learning curve for me. This was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I just could not. Just kept hitting a wall at every step. And I know CNC by now a little bit better. So weird. Anyway, I'm sure you didn't watch this far, but if you did, thanks for watching, and I hope you got something out of it.